Hi guys, welcome back. We're back with another video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and be the first to watch when we upload any new content. Alright guys, so in this video, we're going to be going through some trades which we took last week with my VIP team. We do have NZD/USD. I will definitely look at that. We traded a couple of USD pairs and AUDUSD, and we also looked at pairs like AUDCAD. All right, so I'm going to start with AUDCAD from a clean chart. Remember, this was my analysis. As you all know, I like keeping it clean, but I'm going to take you through the process, right? That how we come about with these anticipations on these trades. All right, so if we go to the clean chart, as you can see, this is what we're expecting on AUDCAD. All right, and it's very simple, as you can see. Right, remember, I've received a lot of messages from people, and you guys seem to struggle a lot with level counts, right? And one important thing you need to keep in mind is, as you get better with counting your levels, right? As you keep seeing this over and over again, I do see some people going through daily charts and marking levels from, I don't know, 22 months ago, right? It's not really important because we are much focused on what is happening currently so that we can take advantage of that. All right, so when I looked at AUDCAD, right, looking at it from this peak, we can see that we had a move up into a consolidation, right, being 1 day of rise, and we can also see another move up, right, being another day of rise, right, and then we also had the last level up, giving us the third level of rise and also giving us a peak formation high, right? So when I looked at this, right, this is what I saw. As you can see from that level 3, the market played around that region for a while, right? The market played around that region for a while. But one thing that I also want you to see is that we had this area right here, right? Because remember, I saw this last week on Wednesday. Right, I saw this last week on Wednesday. So when I looked at this, right, we had this area right here, which was a hidden, weakening base, right? What do I mean by that? Basically, as you can see, price kept hitting this demand area, right? Price kept hitting this demand area. Once you see such on a chart, right, that basically tells you that that demand area is weakening, right? And once an area like that weakens, right, and is visible on the chart, that can only mean one thing: it will eventually break, right? So when I got to the chart, as you can see, we had that base drop right here, and price was currently at this area, which is an order block. So I wanted to see price push down, right, and then at least target these low right here. But price could always make it down here, right? But since this was Wednesday, that's what I had currently, right? So if we go to the chart and just look at it from a BTM main perspective, as you can see, this is how this trade played out, and we did take this trade. Well, I'm actually currently still holding this trade. Okay, this is AUDUSD. We're also going to look at that. This is our AUDCAD trade. As you can see right there, we took this trade on that second leg, and I believe this pays over 80 pips plus floating. All right, so we're going to go through that. If we look at it just from the PTM main perspective, as I've said, so this would be our level 3, right? This whole area right here was our level 3. And remember, I spoke about the weakening base, right? A lot of you guys get confused because of the EMAs, but remember, these are just guidelines. That's why it's easier to understand what's happening on the chart if you just look at it from a clean chart. Right. Oh, and another thing before I go through that, this was a very, very simple setup that I actually identified last week, because if you've been watching our videos, I do like using the highs and lows as a guideline for reversals, right? These are more, for continuation trades. So this being our high and this being our low. Right, currently at this time when I saw this, right, seeing this pullback, right, you can simply use a fib, right? And as you know, once we are using a fib, we're looking to take trades around the 50, 60, 180. All right, so that being our low right there, as you can see, this is what we had. As you can see, price was actually this order block. So we had some confluence here. This order block was actually located at that 5061 region. Right, so that was another, factor of confluence that we had right there. Right, so basically that's what we had. That was level 3. Right, and we're looking to see a move out of that, right? So this was our level 1, as you can see. So this pullback, when I saw this pullback, if we take it, to the PTMM concept, this was very simple. From that peak formation, sorry about that, let me just remove that. All right, so from this peak formation right here, as you can see, price really never went out or broke out of this level 3 consolidation, right? So this was our first level out. This was our first level out. So from seeing this, and also one thing that I saw was we had a 1350 crossover, which confirmed the lock of this peak. So the next high probable trade that I was waiting for here is a bounce off the 50 EMA. And as you can see, this is how this played out, in our H4 time frame. So remember, the 50 EMA in the H4 time frame is actually your 200 EMA in your H1, right? So moving to the H1 time frame, this is what you can see. All right, let me just remove this. So remember, I saw this around Wednesday, right? And we already had this first leg, right? And as you can see, we were expecting NFP, right? We had high impact news on Friday, last Friday, right? And as you can see, I want to show you what happened right here, because remember, when you have such high impact news, you need to be very careful on how you trade. So this was very clear for you to see multi-day information, first leg given right here. Right, the second day, price didn't really do anything. As you can see, price didn't even get near that area right there. So what got me interested more in this trade was this 800 and 200 crossover, right? And I also identified that 800 just above, right? This was on Friday. So as you can see, what the dealer did, right? He actually hit the stops both directions. As you can see, we had this first leg, which I was not interested in. Second leg hitting the stops, and this was your NFP move, right? But that's okay, right? So sometimes, right, I always find people, because you guys get it confused, right? Sometimes you don't have to trade the news, right? It's very risky, right? Sometimes these setups play out after the news, right? And this is exactly what we had right here. So as this pushed up, this was the push to hit the stops, and we also had an order block right here. As you can see, we had this order block right there. So this was a very good area. We had an order block, and we also had the 800 EMA inside, which is our 200 EMA in our H1 time frame. And as you can see, that is how I actually entered this trade, right? So we're still holding that, which was also a good trade. We'll see how that one goes about. So we also had something similar on AUDUSD. All right, we also had something similar on AUDUSD. So we're going to look at it, and I'm going to explain my thought process around this after this ad. All right, guys, we have our MMK final boot camp for this year, and this will be from the 10th of September to the 6th of October. All right, so this is going to be a deep drilling type of boot camp where we go deeper into a couple of these elements that you guys struggle with, and we'll also be live trading to actually show you how you can apply this in live markets. So we're going to be talking about peak formation identification, how to identify peaks, how to identify the right peaks, because remember, we are not just going to trade anything that shows up on the chart. So we're going to be showing you the high probable setups that you can go for. We're going to be talking about level count secrets, giving you the secrets that you guys clearly don't know about, right? But we're going to be deep drilling this, right? Because there will always be variations when it comes to this. And we'll be giving you our top 3 MMK entries. We'll also be talking about resets and institutional order flow. And we'll also be talking about how you can use BTMM, right, to trade high impact news. Right, as I said, there's variations to it, so that's why we are going to take our time on this, and we will also be giving you our MMK checklist, and we will be talking about risk management. All right, guys, so this class is limited, so if you are interested in this, do send me a message. Find the link to do that in the description below. All right, guys, welcome back. Okay, so we also spoke about AUDUSD, right, and also another trade that we took, right. So I'm going to be taking you through it on how this came about, right. So when it comes to level counts, this was very interesting, right. This was a very interesting pair for me because as we can identify, we had this peak. Remember, when counting your levels, you don't have to worry about what's happening here. Come on, right. You are worried about what's currently right showing on the markets, right. So if you're going to go through different levels, you end up, or levels from way back, you end up confusing yourself, and that is not what we're trying to do. So this was very simple. What I identified on this was, okay, we had a peak formation down there. If we go to the H4, this is what we can see, right. So from this, remember, a week of rise can be seen as a level. So from this, we had this 1 week of rise, and within this, I'm sure you can clearly see the pushes, right. 1, 2, and then last push right there. But 1 week of rise can be seen as a level count, right. Remember, this is what happened way back, so that's not something you should be worried about. Right, fine. So we had that 1 week of rise into a consolidation. All right, as you can see, this is just a consolidation. All right, so from here, this is still our level 1 consolidation. All right, and this is going into the next week. And as you can see, the midweek reversal was given just below the 50 EMA, right here, right, which we had at 1350. So this was confirmed, right, and we had another push up, right, which can also be seen as a week of rise. Right, so remember, there will always be variations, right. There will always be variations in the market. Don't expect to see, the same movement every week, exactly how it was the previous week. There will always be variations, but what keeps you in the game, and what actually keeps you more profitable is being selective. Fine. So we clearly identify that level 2, right, into a consolidation, and we also identified a last level. And where this last level happened was very interesting, as you can see, right here we're at the 800 EMA in sight, and we also had the supply zone hidden base right here, right. So this was a very good pair, right, for you to actually take advantage of. But remember, there will always be things that can happen, excuse me, right. Like last week we had NFP, right. So the dealer will always play around with it, but remember, order flow remains the same. Right, order flow will always remain the same. Right, so what I had currently, if you look at this, we had this high from the peak, right. So if I take my fib, right, to where the reversal happened right here, if I take my fib, I'm waiting to take a trade at the 50, 61, 80 region, right. Fine. And this was also good because we had this base drop area right here. All right, so that was also a nice area right there at the 51. So this is where I anticipated this to go to, right. So if we go to our H4 time frame, this is what we can see. All right, from here, as you can see, this was 1 week of rise, another week of rise, and then the last week of rise giving us a peak formation. Right, so as you can see, right, very clear for you to see, but this is your H4, so this did take some time, right. So as you can see from this area, what we can identify, let me break this down for you. All right, let me just remove this. Right, this being our level 3, all right, the only time price really got out was this move, right. For me, this can be seen, right, if you're looking at it from variations, this can be seen as 1 week of drop, right. But remember, I knew what was happening. We also had, a crossover of the 1350 crossover, right, which confirmed the lock of this peak formation, right here. And so this reversal happened from this 200 EMA, right. So as you can see, right, we expect to see a bounce off the 50 or trap above or below the 50 EMA. So as you can see, what we had right here, this was your first leg, right, and your second leg, right. And as you can see how this came through, remember, the news, right. You always need to check, your news, right. You can move over to Forex Factory and actually see what's happening, right. Because some people just, start counting levels and, doing a whole bunch of stuff without really, checking the high impact news, because it will affect, how we trade, because it's either it will be used to complete the cycle or it can be used as a trap. So you need to be very careful, all right, when it comes to such. Fine. So we had a very interesting area right here, as you can see, right, this area right here, and on that day, this is what we could identify, right? So dealer didn't really do much in this case, right? Picked up some pendings on the other side, right? Remember, first leg, this is a multi-day information, right? And as you can see, as NFP came through, that was actually used to hit the stops. So it's an in and out, right? That was used to hit the stops. All right, so there are some instances where the dealer can actually use the news to continue or start a trend, meaning you might get a peak formation and it will continue going up. But in this case, the dealer used the news to hit the stops, right? Giving us what we are looking for. Remember, we want to see a trap. If you are looking to sell, we want to see a trap above the Asian range, which is what we saw, right? A trap, and that is the reason why I took the trade, right? So as you can see, we are in this trade. Also shared it with my VIP team. All right, guys. Hope you learned something from this video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you're interested in the bootcamp, hit me up with a message. Find how to do that. Find the link in the description below. You can either send me a message on Telegram or WhatsApp. Cheers, guys.